The Transition Tuesdays for this Tuesday, September 13th, 2022. I am your host, Russ Williams. I'm so glad you could be here today. Ladies and gentlemen, Transition Army, I know you could have been anywhere in this world today. I know you could have been anywhere in this world today, but you decided to be here with me. And I appreciate that. And more importantly, I appreciate you. So welcome to Transition Tuesdays, my friends. On this September 13th, this Tuesday, second Tuesday of the month, here. Welcome again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have an action-packed show, ladies and gentlemen, but before I begin, I always like to state my intentions. And my intention is to give you the opportunity to laugh, smile, think, and engage in honest conversations about your life's transition. So that's what we do here on Transition Tuesdays. That is what we do. And just a couple of things before we begin. I know we just had it was not a celebration by any stretch of imagination, but we just marked the 21st anniversary of 9/11, September 11th, this past Sunday. And man, do I have a story to tell about 9/11. Now, question I have for everybody is, where were you when 9/11 took place? Do you remember where you were? I mean, some people can remember the actual place where they were, what city they were in. You know, like myself, I was in New York City, so I have a story to tell about 9/11 21 years ago. I can't believe it was 21 years ago. Man, it seems like it was just like yesterday. And if you know a little bit about me, about my story, if you know a little bit about me, you know the number 11 is prevalent in my life. Again, I wore number 11. You see that number there? See number 11 right there? I wore number 11 in college. I scored 1,100 points. So a lot of things with that. 92, I graduated in 92. 92 is 11. A lot of parallels with me in that number 11. So I remember the day 9/11, 21 years ago. And it was the time in which my then wife, she was pregnant. And she was due for birth soon. And I remember waking up telling my then wife, saying, man, I think we're going to have the baby today. I think we're going to have the baby today on this 9/11. It's going to be special. It's going to work out perfectly. Something big is going to happen today. And did it. Boy, did it happen. I tell you, I remember it. I remember it again like it was yesterday. Again, I remember my daily routine. I officed out of my home, and I was in my office, in my room, and I remember listening to Howard Stern on extraterrestrial radio. And I remember him, he was talking, but his sidekick Baba Booey came in, on when the first plane hit the first tower, and I remember him saying, like, that's weird. It looks like a little plane, like a crop duster or something, flew into the World Trade Center. And, people thought that was weird. And it was weird, it just like landed right in there, dead smack. And, moments later, the second plane hit. And I remember Howard Stern saying, we are under attack, America. We are under attack. And when that happened, and again, like all hell broke loose during that time in 9/11. Early day, beautiful day, like a nice fall, almost like a nice fall day almost. Just beautiful skies, and all chaos ensued. I remember, we were watching TV, and I remember my then wife, she was really frantic because, we're looking at this, and, and here she was pregnant, and we were just, she was just saying, we can't stay here, we're being under attack, It's nothing, we were held hostage and captive watching TV. There's nothing we could do. You heard reports about how people, they were told to stay in the towers, nothing's happening. You could, kind of like a false alarm, and some people stayed in while other people, made it down and got out. But some people weren't as lucky. Some people, you saw footage of people jumping from the windows. That was the most harrowing thing that I remember that day. And it was just crazy. And I remember, my guy Smooth, was probably checking in. As we got Felicia checking in from the Rock. What's going on, Felicia? Welcome to Transition Tuesdays. As Felicia says, hashtag a day to remember 9/11. Absolutely, Felicia, absolutely. And, I remember my boy Smooth, because we worked for Jostens during that time. And I know Smooth was on his way to a school. And I know Smooth was caught on the bridge because everything stopped. For bridges, tunnels, everything just stopped during that time with the chaos in 9/11. And I remember Smooth always tells me the stories how he was just idle on the bridge, but he could see the smoke coming from the city down in the World Trade Center. You could see that all the way from the bridge that he was on. So it was hectic. Man, it was just a hectic day that day. It was just crazy. Especially when the towers crumbled down to the ground. That massive buildings, both of them just crumbled to the ground. And people are still feeling the effects from 21 years later. There's a lot of people, due to the exhaust from the planes landing into the World Trade Center, people are still affected. My high school teammate and, a good friend of mine, Derek Amelbert, he was one of the first people in there, in the towers. And he was affected by that and had cancer, and I think is in remission. So shout out to you, Derek, man. Glad you're still here, my man. Oh, my God. But here's one of the heroes. Those policemen, the firemen. My former college teammate, Tom Corrigan, he was one of the first responders in there. And I remember it was a tough time trying to get in contact with Tom because we knew that he was in there. So shout out to my guy, Tom Corrigan, as well. He's doing well, retired fireman. But it was just hectic. And people are still feeling the effects of it today. And, man, and the one thing I really remember about it all, because that day was chaotic. It was hectic. You couldn't get calls. If you worked down that area, you got back home. There's stories like people had to walk home because the trains, buses, everything was closed. Everything was shut down. Some people got home like 9 or 10 o'clock from a 9 o'clock day, in which they were walking to the boroughs, walking to Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Manhattan, just walking and seeing what took place. But the thing I really remember is the next day, September 12th. I used to live on a busy street in Queens. Cars used to zoom by there all the time, this and that and the third, a lot of activity. I remember coming out my doorstep and just sitting right there on the steps. And it was like total silence. It almost seemed like the world just stopped. The activity. To me it felt like a dream. It felt like an absolute dream, a horror that took place. And like most days like that, a lot of death, close to 3,000 people passed away, people buried alive in the rubble of the World Trade Center. But a lot of times with death comes life. Then 10 days later, September 21st, 2021, my firstborn, Taya Janae Williams, was born. And man, I thought, I was really adamant. I thought she was going to be born that day on 9/11. But she wasn't. But 10 days later, it would have been perfect if she was born, 11 days later, but she wasn't. It was 10 days later. And man, that was one of those days that will change your life forever. And we celebrate 21 years of that. And like for me, and people involved, and people still feeling the effects from families, because everybody was affected. Everybody was affected. Maybe you knew somebody who passed away in the rubble, or what happened, or you knew people who were first responders, you knew somebody. And especially with me living it here, because I lived in New York at that time. Man, it was really a harrowing event. But again, from that death came life. And 10 days later, my daughter Taya, who is now, she'll be 21 on the 21st. She'll be 21 years old. And man, having a great time with it all. She's at LaSalle University, and she's just loving life and loving school. So it's just been a blessing. But I do remember that day, 9/11, 2001, a day we'll live in infamy here in the United States. Man, oh man. Like Felicia just mentioned, hashtag a day to remember 9/11. Absolutely. Yeah. Tell you. Rough. Crazy. Crazy time. Man, and speaking of crazy times, because here on our show, we try to make you laugh, smile, and think, but, a lot of times, the laughter isn't there. The smiles aren't there, especially with the next story I'm about to talk about. You have R&B rapper PnB Rock, who was fatally shot at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles in Los Angeles. Man, you hate to hear these stories, man, about this, especially in hip hop and, in times like this, And so I want to read this article about this young man, which is just crazy, man. I want to have some discussion, have some honest discussion about this as well. So the hip hop community is taking a moment to remember PnB Rock on Monday, September 12th, after the rapper was fatally shot at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles in Los Angeles. This young man was only 30 years old. The rapper was dining at a restaurant with his girlfriend, who at the time posted and then deleted a location tag photo of the couple's meal on her Instagram story. And I'm going to talk about that. So before we rush to some judgment there, okay? When the shooting occurred at 1:23 p.m. Okay, so it says so. The Los Angeles Times reported the suspect in the shooting brandished a firearm inside the restaurant and demanded items from the victim. PnB Rock was reportedly targeted for his jewelry. Okay, so PnB Rock's real name was Rakim Hassim Allen. He was transported to the hospital and pronounced dead at 1:59 p.m. So like moments later, not even 20 minutes later, pronounced dead there. And a couple of things. Hold on a second. Let me see if anybody's responding. And Nicki Minaj, she tweeted today. She talked about this particular incident. So she's a person who worked with PnB Rock. Nicki Minaj went on to say, she tweeted, after Pop Smoke, there's no way we as rappers or our loved ones are still posting locations to our whereabouts to show waffles or some fried chicken. He was such a pleasure to work with. Condolences to his mom and family. This makes me feel so sick, Jesus. So this was Nicki Minaj said. You had Offset, who said, pray for PnB Rock. The man got family and kids. Shaking my head. God be with this man. So, yeah, man, this is just a tragedy. Tragedy that, man, and it seems to occur a lot in the California area. I mean, a lot of this time, these rappers, might have the chains and what have you. And I know, and I hope this young lady, his girlfriend, I hope we don't, rush to judgment here, because they said she posted or then deleted photos of them at the place, so you could be like a target like that, but how the hood is, sometimes people can tip off people, maybe it was somebody in there who tipped it off, what they call that, line somebody up. Could have been somebody in Roscoe's who might have saw this young man and his girlfriend in there eating, had the piece with him, had the jewelry on him, and with no security. Somebody in there could have made the call, so it could have, that could have took place that way. And you hear a lot of times, especially in the California, man, especially in LA. I mean, the guys are getting robbed, man, and for their chains and necklaces, and we would love to live in a world in which these things, you be able to wear what you want to wear and drive what you want to drive, but sometimes it's not the reality. When you go into some of these places, these places like this, and especially you have to have a lot, and I would think a lot of these rappers, and a lot of them do, but when you go into these situations, because I think Roscoe's is known for a place that, people getting robbed and shot at. Not condoning that action, but, sometimes you might have to have security around just to, not your boys, not your homeboys from the hood. No, just like hired security. If you're going to be going out there to these places or, in these environments, maybe security you have to have security. Take a guy like 50 Cent who was shot 9 times. They say now, with 50 Cent, he has security everywhere he go. Even when you think he doesn't have security, he has security. When you're in that public eye like that, people want to try, people want to test, a lot of times, people I deal with and stuff like that, a lot of times it's youth, they don't want to work. They want to get it. They want to get stuff now, here and now. And if they got to rob, they do those things, which is a darn shame. So a lot of times it might be maybe security. Maybe these people need security measures. You got to take security measures. It ain't no punk if you got, you just protecting your brand. You just protecting your family, protecting your lifestyle. You protecting the people around you. Even if you have, these necklaces and, chains and stuff like that. You might have to invest in that and do that. It's a shame we have to do that, but, we have to learn these things, and it's senseless. It's just like senseless. Killing somebody for a necklace, for a piece of metal. You're ridiculous, man. This kid have family, girlfriend, kids. Man, it's just a tragedy, man. And it's us doing it. We're doing it to us. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all, man. It really doesn't, man. So, man, my condolences go out to the PnB, Rock's family. A lot of lives are affected now. This guy's life. Oh man, his girlfriend who's there, the kids, these lives are affected with this. This one action of this person who's, shot the guy and took his neck, took the chain. We gotta see, we gotta live into the reality of things. Not like what we gotta see, we live in what it is. This is the reality of things. And we have to protect ourselves. And I guess these people, public figures, if you're going out in these environments, you have to be protected at all times, and it's just really a shame, man. It's just really a shame how, things like that take place, and man, it's just not a good time, man. Not a good time, man. So yeah, just be careful. We all gotta be careful out here. We all gotta be careful out here because it's just crazy. It's just crazy, and it doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. None whatsoever. But so, shout out to that young king, and we just gotta learn. We gotta learn lessons from. We're doing this to us. That's the moral of the story too. We're doing it to us. Us as a people. We're doing it to us, and that doesn't make sense. Really doesn't make sense at all. Doesn't make sense at all. So, ladies and gentlemen, if we were able to make you laugh, smile, and more importantly today, if we were able to make you think, you have accomplished something major today. So celebrate your victory. Celebrate your victory here today, ladies and gentlemen. Transition Army. Play my theme music, guys. Hold on. Let's see. Let's cue it up. All right. Yes, yes. Here we go. Woo! Alrighty. Transition Army. Thank you for watching Transition Tuesdays each and every Tuesday. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. I thank you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You can watch my show here and past episodes on our YouTube channel, Transition Tuesdays. So when you're on there, please make sure you like and subscribe, okay, before you leave the channel. Make sure you go check it out. Check out some good stuff. Good past videos and current videos. Check those out. We got some classics there. I think you will enjoy it, okay? You can follow me on Instagram at Russ Will Transitions. That's Russ Will Transitions with an S. So please make sure you do that, okay? And I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you, the Transition Army. And I want to give you guys applause for tuning in each and every Tuesday. Okay? I know it's tough for some of you guys to come and see me and come and and vibe with the show, but you made it. You made it through the show, and I appreciate you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's get back to the theme music. Alrighty. So I want to thank my sponsor, Sweet Candy Cafe, which is the home of Southern Sweetness in Lumberton, North Carolina. So after the show, make sure you go to sweetcandycafe.com and order your confectionery goodies. They ship home and abroad. And in November 26th, 2 days after Thanksgiving, this company, this small business, is celebrating 10 years in existence as a small business. All right, we have Felicia on here. Shout out to you, Felicia. Gonna be doing some celebrating a decade of excellence. So make sure you go to sweetcandycafe.com to order your confectionery goodies. All right, make sure you do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, Transition Army, as we send parting, happy transitioning, and we'll speak to you soon. Take care, everybody. God bless.